Britt, to start with you, your character Helly is definitely someone I would argue comes in and shakes things up a little bit, for the group, and definitely does not want to stay there, but can't seem to quit her position in spite of attempts. So, what do you think is primarily fueling her motivation to kind of disrupt the status quo, so to speak?
So Helly wakes up on an office table having no clue who she is, and I think not knowing is what becomes the engine to her wanting to escape, to get to the outside and find out who she is at core. And initially she thinks it's the boss and the system that are keeping her trapped inside of this place that she doesn't want to be. But when she discovers that it's actually herself on the outside, I think it becomes this really poignant way of highlighting that we're often our own worst enemy. So she becomes this human versus self embodiment.
John, I think, especially moved by Irving's arc this season. You play somebody who I think we can argue is more of a stickler for company rules, recites the handbook by memory, but then ends up, I would say, maybe breaking some rules himself. When he meets someone, what was something that you wanted to convey in terms of the relationship and how meaningful that becomes for Irving?
I think, even if you reduce someone to a childlike state, there's still an innate need and longing to connect with another person. And I thought that was something that was really interesting to me, especially coming from a very disciplined background, which it touches on right at the end. So I thought that was really, it's a universal thing, and that they can't erase you completely. And then the dawning of that while he's there. And I thought that was something, especially that I got to do that with Christopher. It was interesting. It was interesting, and I think very human too.
For sure. Zach, for you, Dylan has all of these wild and hilarious theories that he comes up with for what Lumon is actually doing, what their jobs entail. Were there ever any alternative pretend theories that were decided on, or something that you think Dylan would have come up with after spending long hours at that cubicle?
I think he could come up with almost anything and would believe almost anything, because he really has no idea what's going on. And he also, until Helly arrives, doesn't really care that much. Like he has a lot of questions, and he likes talking about it, and he likes telling stories about what might be going on. But until Helly shows up, it kind of doesn't affect his day-to-day life. He's like, it doesn't matter. I still got to hit my numbers. So I think he would maybe believe almost anything.
That's actually all the time I have, but thank you all so much for sitting with me talking about the show. It's a wild ride, and I cannot wait for everyone else to see it. And I am crossing my fingers very hard for a season 2 already. So thank you so much.
Thanks.